Yo, what's up everybody, it's Fright Delight. I hope y'all had a great holiday season and happy new year too. Let's start it right by talking about Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, made in 1988. This is when films like Night of the Demons, Die Hard, and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark came out. Trust me when I tell you, homies, I watched Elvira more than a few times for the plot. Now, Halloween 4 is about Michael Myers returning to Haddonfield to continue his killing spree and attempt to kill his little niece Jamie. This is a film I've always enjoyed, and even when I was a kid, I watched this movie just as much as the original, if not more. But from what I've seen, the general reception of this film is that it didn't reach the height of the first two installments. The film lacks tension and atmosphere. Then I also seen this film as a remake of the first movie, which I'll call bullshit on, because the first film is from an adult's perspective in Laurie, and this film is from the perspective of a child and Jamie. It doesn't make sense to me, but if I'm tweaking, let me know in the comments. Anyways, there are some positives I've seen from the film, saying that the acting from Jamie Lloyd was amazing, the kills are more brutal than the previous movies, and that the film has one of the most shocking endings in the franchise. Now, I said I enjoyed Halloween 4 when I was a kid, but does it carry over into adulthood? Well, you'll find out as I recap the movie, give my thoughts and opinions in between, and then end it off with a tier list. Now let's stop playing and go back to Haddonfield for a third time. The movie starts off with a wounded Michael Myers being picked up and taken back to Smith's Grove. The man is basically in an unresponsive coma. That is until the two nurses start talking about his niece that's alive and well in his hometown. Well, Michael wakes up out that coma madder than a redneck with mixed grandkids and stuffs his thumb right into the forehead of one of the nurses in brutal fashion. This takes us to Haddonfield that same night where we meet our main characters, Jamie and Rachel. Rachel's comforting Jamie because she's unable to sleep. Jamie asks her if she loves her like a real sister, and of course she does, even if it's only been 11 months since Jamie's moved in away from her parents. Rachel takes Jamie to the room, closes the door, and dips off to bed herself. Jamie takes his time to look through her belongings, pulling up a picture of Laurie, which is supposed to be her late mother. Laurie died in a car accident a while back, which is why Jamie is living with her new family. Damn, off-screen deaths of a main character suck. But it was due to Jamie Lee not wanting to come back, being done with horror movies during that time. Which I understand though, so I can't take it out on the movie, but it still kind of hurts because I think the dynamic between Jamie and Laurie would have been amazing to play out on screen, and might have made the ending a little bit more heartbreaking. Let me not get ahead of myself. While Jamie is about to go to bed, the door behind her starts to crack open. Just as she's about to check it out, a hand grabs her. It's Michael Myers back full of blood with the power to teleport too. Psych, it was a nightmare. We see her getting comforted by her foster parents before we fast forward to the next day when Rachel's told that she has to babysit Jamie, which she isn't too happy about because she has an important date with her boyfriend. Rachel's serious about her man, but the way she puts it hurts Jamie's feelings.
I'm sorry I ruined everything. I wasn't here, you can go out.
Rachel goes to the room to tell Jamie that she didn't mean it like that, and they're gonna get ice cream and go trick-or-treating, which puts a smile right back on Jamie's face. While they're getting ready, we catch up with the man himself, Dr. Gangster Limp Loomis. He's talking with the doctor that let Michael out the Richmond Sanitarium, asking how he could do something like that when Michael's evil on two legs. Of course, the doctor doesn't believe any of what Loomis has to say and shuts him out. That is until he gets a call that has to deal with the ambulance that picked Michael up. The two pull up to the crash site, and when Loomis takes a few minutes to look at what happened, he already knows where to go, head straight to Haddonfield. But he can't do it on an empty tank, so while Loomis pulls up to the gas station to fill up, Michael's already inside making quick work of the mechanic there. Loomis goes inside to get help, but when he does, he finds the mechanic dead, put up like decoration. Loomis runs out of there and rushes to the diner next door. This is when he meets Michael face to face. Now you know Loomis is gangster. He loses his cane, gives Michael one last look, then unloads his tools. But you know Michael is as swift as Loomis is gangster and gets away to the back. Loomis dashes outside looking for Michael and finds him when he bursts through the garage trying to make like a banana and peel out of there. He's successful in doing so, leaving an explosion behind, making Loomis jump out the way. See, I knew that cane was for show. Anyways, that same day we catch up with Jamie at school being picked on by these dusty ass kids. These badass little kids have the nerve to chase after her and mock her too. Let me tell you something, if I was going to school with her, I would have cooked every last one of them for her. The kids would have went home, cried, and threw their whole fit away with me. The bullying ends though when Jamie gets picked up by Rachel and her friend Lindsay. They all head out to the store to pick up a costume for Jamie, and so Rachel can talk to her boyfriend. His name is Brady. She pulls him to the side to talk while Jamie looks for a costume. She tells him that she can't go on a date with him being stuck on babysitting duty. He has a quick solution to that too.
Can I come over after Jamie goes to sleep?
My parents are gonna come home early tonight.
By the way he's talking, I'm already knowing he's trying to smash. So he walks away disappointed and has to wait another day to slide in between. On the other side of the store, while Jamie is posing with costumes, she starts to have visions of her younger uncle, Michael. This spooks her into hallucinating the adult Michael right before her eyes, making her scream to the top of her lungs. Everyone rushes to make sure she's okay, while suddenly we see that it wasn't a hallucination. Many miles away, Loomis is trying to play catch up, trying to hitchhike a ride from these college kids. They ditch his ass, dirt in the face and everything. But at least it doesn't end on a bad note, because as the dust clears, another car pulls up to give Loomis a ride. This man can't catch a break, but a ride is a ride and he has liquor to help him forget what dude just did, so yeah, we good. Later that night, as the parents dip to an important promotion for their work, Jamie gets her costume ready for the night as the two leave the house. Michael sneaks in and ends up finding a picture of Lori out of Jamie's box. While he's reminiscing, we follow Loomis talking with the officers at the police station about sending help to the town to help search for Michael and find Jamie. At first, like always, they don't believe him, but as they try to talk on the phone to the state troopers, they find that the line is down, causing the sheriff to slide out with Loomis to check things out. As the two begin their search, Jamie and Rachel are going door to door trick-or-treating. This is when they pull up to Kelly's house for some candy, and as they're next in line, Rachel sees Brady coming downstairs just like he put it on her. They lock eyes and she dips off with Jamie, but he catches up to her and tries to tell her, "It's not what it looks like, baby." That man's trying to get his nut like the squirrel from Ice Age, so after she says what she has to say, he takes a look back at Kelly, then goes back inside the crib and gets his willy wet. Anyways, Rachel realizes Jamie walked off with the neighborhood kids. Now she's lost, not knowing where she is. Rachel walks through the neighborhood a bit, getting followed in the process. As she turns around, she sees the Shape himself walking her way. She doesn't waste any time switching into third gear and sliding off on him. If I didn't know any better, I'd say she has a little bit of black in her. She ends up finding Jamie walking down the neighborhood and catches up to her. Right as that happens, Loomis and the sheriff pull up and tell him to hop in. They waste no time doing so as Michael's watching from the wayside. Loomis catches a glimpse of him and doesn't waste any time pulling out the tool, but as he does, a few more Michaels appear, letting me know exactly why the guy got ran over in the first movie. Loomis ain't playing games and is about to shoot, but the guy pulls off his mask and runs away with his piece of shit friends. As the four drive away, the real Michael stands in the road watching them get away. While Loomis and the rest pull up to the school and walk into the aftermath of Michael's rampage, the neighborhood men at the bar catch the news talking about all businesses should be closed. Now that doesn't sit right with the bar owner, so he calls the sheriff's office directly but can't get an answer. He gathers his homies and they all ride out to the school where Loomis and the sheriff are, and simultaneously as they drive off, Michael gets to the town's power station and takes it out by tossing a random shift worker on the grid, causing all the lights to go out around the neighborhood. When the townspeople get together with Loomis, he wastes no time revealing to everyone that Michael's back for blood. Well, that puts a fire on everyone's ass, so everybody starts to look around the neighborhood, and the only reason the sheriff doesn't stop him is because he's low on officers. Speaking of officers, Sheriff Ben calls in one more officer to meet him at the house to station there and protect Jamie. His name is Logan. He cluelessly drives off to the safe zone with the op in the back seat. The four pull up to Sheriff Ben's crib, and I didn't mention this earlier, but Kelly is Ben's daughter, and right in the middle of getting greasy with Brady. They finish up seconds before anyone comes in asking what that smell is. No, I'm just playing. But it is kind of awkward when Rachel has to walk by them to get to the room upstairs though. Sheriff Ben slides Brady a shotgun and tells him to watch after Jamie and Rachel. He agrees, then walks up to the room to check on them. They're fine considering the circumstances, so he checks the attic while all the other officers board up the doors and stand guard for the night. Not long after, Rachel gives Jamie a kiss before sliding downstairs to confront Kelly, and on the way there, passes by a clueless Logan that doesn't see Michael already in the building. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised this didn't end with Kelly on the floor after this.
Hey, you knew. You just didn't care.
He's not married.
Rachel's bigger than that, and she walks off to the sheriff asking what's going on. But of course he doesn't tell her, and instead tells her to watch out for a call from the radio. Loomis dips out to look for Michael while Kelly brings out some beverages for everyone, starting with holy shit. Michael cooks her instantly and now walking around loose in the house, having killed Logan earlier. This is when Rachel finally gets the call through the radio, but quickly realizes it may be too late and runs upstairs to get Jamie. She's not there, and before Rachel can check another room, she runs into Brady. He tries to get them out of there shooting the door handle, but he's unsuccessful, leading them to rush upstairs, running into Jamie. The two embrace each other, and it's kind of heartwarming until Michael's like, "Not on my watch," and starts to chase them in classic Michael Myers style. Brady stands up to Michael and tells him to run while he holds him back. As they dip, it doesn't take long for Michael to get a hold of Brady like he owes him money, then makes his way to the attic to catch his little niece Jamie. Michael isn't too far behind and grabs a knife as the two get to the roof trying to get away. With Jamie on her back, Rachel attempts to get to the top of the roof and nearly slips off, but gathers herself just in time and tries again. This time she's successful. It's a good thing too, because Michael ain't slowing down and almost ends Rachel right there. And I can't lie, I've never seen anybody put so much passion behind a knife swing. The man put his elbow into it too. Yeah, playtime is over. Rachel is able to use some wires and creative thinking to get Jamie about halfway down before Michael gets to her and almost ends her life again. But she's more elusive than a good smell on shit and gets away, but falls off the roof getting knocked out. Jamie is able to get to the ground safely and dashes to Rachel. As she starts to cry, Michael steps into the background like, "Did you miss me?" Jamie says hell no and runs away into the fog-filled neighborhood until Loomis finds her and takes her to the schoolhouse, breaks in and tries to get her to safety. Michael has fast feet because he catches up to the two damn near in the blink of an eye. Loomis gets tossed out the picture, leaving Jamie by herself yet again. The acting by Daniel Harris in this scene is awesome, And not just this scene, but the entire film. And I can genuinely see the terror in her face as she wanders down the halls alone. She trips down the stairs, giving Michael a good shot at getting to her, but my girl Rachel pulls up with a fire extinguisher and saves Jamie just in time. She takes her to the car with the townspeople and they quickly make their way out of there. Out of the town, ending the movie. Nah, I'm just playing. Michael is somehow able to catch up to the truck, getting back-to-back ninja kills, and then finishes things off in brutal fashion by grabbing and damn near pulling off this guy's head with his bare hands. That's one guy I would not want to be. He got it the worst, and then Rachel pushes his body out. I know she had no choice, but damn dude had it rough. Rachel tries to shake Michael off the truck, but he's holding on tighter than my budget. She finally stops the car, causing him to fly off. Rachel gets the right idea and drives the truck straight into Michael. He flies into the field, and it seems like he's down for the count. Jamie walks up to him and tries to comfort him for whatever reason. At the same time, the cops alongside the rest of the townspeople pull up and tell Jamie to get her crazy ass down before they unload every clip they have into the man. They end up making his grave right there with no tombstone. We transition to later that same night at Rachel's house following the aftermath of Michael's killing spree. The foster parents are there to comfort the two after a long night. Then the mother runs some bath water for Jamie. A scream is heard from upstairs. Loomis rushes to see the commotion and finds Jamie covered in her foster mother's blood. The movie ends as we hear Loomis's horrific screams of terror, realizing she's been taken over by the evil. Alright homies, that was the end of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. A nice return to form for the horror icon. Started with some of the positives first. To get the obvious one out the way, the score was amazing as always, and I love how a subtle bass was added to it during the beginning, giving more of an intensity to the theme. It kind of sounds like an anxiety-driven heartbeat. Another positive I have for the film is Gangsta Limp Loomis. And please don't crucify me for saying this, but I enjoyed his character more in this film than in the original. Oh, I'm alive! Now let me explain. Loomis has a lot more to do and isn't tossed to the side to the back end of the film like the previous two installments. He actually gets a lot more done, like coming close to taking Michael out in the first 30 minutes of the movie. Then gets to Jamie and Rachel before Michael could and gets them to safety. The only thing that messed up his plan was clueless ass Logan bringing Michael to the safe house. Now that I think about it, it is kind of funny how Loomis moves faster with a limp than he ever did with two good legs. Now my next positive is Michael Myers and how strategic he was throughout the whole film. I mean, he escaped being caught by Loomis while taking his car out, so he had no way to follow him. Then later that night, he takes out the town's power. But not only that either, he's able to use the different officers to his advantage by hiding in one of the cop cars to get right where Jamie is. My second to last positive is actually the ensemble cast. I enjoyed most of the characters and how they interacted with each other. You got Rachel and Jamie's dynamic, which carried the emotional weight of the movie. Every scene they were in felt genuine. Aside from those two, Rachel's interaction with Brady was interesting to me because you could tell he wasn't a scumbag. He just couldn't stop thinking with his dick. And you see he cared for her when it really mattered as he dies trying to protect Rachel and Jamie. So while the film has generic characters, I still enjoyed the depth the actors were able to bring to their roles that made it a bit more enjoyable to see on screen, at least for me. And my final positive for the film is that motherfucking ending. After everything was done to try to save Jamie from Michael Myers, nobody, including myself, ever thought she would become him. I remember watching this movie for the first time and genuinely being shocked with the direction they took, and everything made sense, which is sometimes a big ask for movies in general, but especially horror movies. Having Jamie kill the mom and act as she's been taken over by the evil is an ending that can stick with you on the first time watch. There are subtle hints throughout the film, like her hallucinations and the costume that she just so happened to choose. In my opinion, she didn't just choose, she was influenced by the evil or Michael Myers, which is just my headcanon. But even as much as I enjoyed this film, there are still some glaring negatives for me, starting with, of course, the mask. No matter what story you give me, it just doesn't make sense that a movie with a budget of $5 million in 1988 could mess up so bad on one of the most, if not the most important piece of the film, which is the mask. From what I've seen, when they ordered the molds of the original mask and when they came in, the masks were pink with white hair. So the makeup technician told the producer, but in the end he had to paint the mask himself, creating the mask we got. Now this whole time I'm thinking the mask was so unique that there was little to no way to create the original mask the exact same way. But nah, it was somebody penny pinching. And that kind of sucks because the movie probably could have been the next best Halloween movie behind the original if not for the mask. But there are some other negatives that I have to point out too. The next one I have is how Michael was able to ninja his way onto the back of the truck and kill the townspeople. Now up until this point, Michael has been more or less getting from one place to another in a reasonable sense. But when it came down to the last 15 minutes, it was like the filmmakers or writers or somebody was like, All right, time to wrap this shit up. And they didn't really care about what made sense as long as Michael was dead and Jamie carried over the evil. This also carries over into my final negative for the film, and that was Michael's actual death. To me, it was a bit lackluster how he went out like a Western cowboy in the 20s after all he did. I thought he didn't nearly get enough as what he put out. And not only that, not one cop checked for a body, which I thought was a little weird considering they did all that work to find him. So with all that being said, as much as I want to put this in the close to the sun, I think I could sleep at night putting this in the spooky category. Now homies, this is the part where I usually go through the tier list and let you know where I think I will survive. But we're getting rid of that tier list for right now. We're gonna create something brand new, but for right now, we're gonna have to wait a few videos for that so I can get all the kinks and stuff worked out. But until then, we'll just have the movie tier list. Hopefully there wasn't a person that really loved those. If you did, let me know in the comments and I might continue to do them. But for right now, we're gonna get rid of them. So those are my thoughts on Halloween 4, a movie I'd recommend to anybody that's never seen or heard of the ending, because I think you'd be mildly surprised. Well, homies, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for making it this far. Let me know what you thought about Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers in the comments below, even if you disagree with me. And if you enjoyed this video and have any movies that you want me to cover in the future, put that in the comments below too. Go ahead and slash that like and subscribe button to see more reviews like this one, and I appreciate y'all coming to a Fright Delight. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.